I recommend not trying it. Or do. Daily themed durian. And maybe at some point. It's a dangerous fruit. Jealous of people who live in big cities. They've got 10 places total to deliver there. Yeah, when I was out for those 2 weeks, I was looking at the delivery options. It was like 3. And one of the delivery options was Tractor Supply Co. Durian does not make me sing. No durian. Do I need to make an anti-durian sticker? I might. Durian. It's a cool band name. Okay, I went through and randomly hit options for a smoothie, and it gave me raspberry, pineapple, cucumber, and ginger. How's that sound? Sounds like a ginger on holiday in Hawaii. I mean, it doesn't sound explicitly bad, so... Espresso and raspberry sound good together? Agree. I'll add it. You get in the ice cream store from customers, surprise me. There's your surprise, less work for me. That's why I say, give me what you would order. What you would make for yourself. That's my request when I don't know what to order. And I'm in person. go here. David is still coming. As far as I'm aware, David is still coming. I have had no note of cancellation from him. But he may also be busy with the various web stuff. So, could be a bit late. Like getting a durian smoothie, waiting on me to get back from the 18-mile smoothie run. I'll message him just to make sure. Or someone else will. Thank you. Movie the Mentorian candidate. Need to pull durian or not durian. There, have the poll. Yeah, it looks like not durian is winning by a solid margin. Ah, there's David. Hello. If you are talking, I cannot hear you.
Hello.
Hello. Can hear you now. Good.
One day Discord will fix this. By then, maybe doing this on more platforms. Okay, I'm gonna launch the thing. Let everyone join and then we'll get started.
Looks like we're about leveled up.
Oh, thank you for coming. This is the weekly Midjourney office hours. We do it every week at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Basically, what we do is we talk about what we're working on and what we're thinking about. And then we ask questions, and that's it. Sometimes we go several hours, but today I'm going to try to keep it a little shorter just because I'm starting to lose my voice. I can only do so many. It's usually like, I don't know, 18 hours of talking in 2 days, and I start to get harder to talk, and so I'm going to be a little careful. Um, but let's get started. Let's see. We just opened up the website to everybody, so if you haven't tried the Midjourney web like image creation, you should definitely try it. If you have friends that have been curious to try making images on Midjourney, there's a free trial right now. I don't know exactly how long it'll last. It could be a few days, it could be a week, but not long. So it's a good time to get friends to try it. We haven't turned trials on in a long time, and there was historically a lot of abuse, and it was kind of bad when we did it. But we're kind of taking the hit this time just to let people try the website, but we'll kind of be, keeping an eye on it, and depending on how things look, we might turn it off again. But it's on for now, so definitely a good time to encourage people to try it. Um, we also have the rooms starting to sync for like prompt chat and super users, and there's a newbies room that syncs and daily theme syncs, so that's cool. The rooms feel much better now. Um, I guess those are the main things that have launched in the last week, and there's things coming up next. So we're training some versions of 6.2, see how it goes. Um, we'll probably be testing them like a bit this week, so we'll know more soon. Their V7 networks also training, which look good, and it'll take a while for those to be ready, but they're training, which is good. Lots of video models training. There's some 3D stuff is getting closer and closer to be training, and I think it will probably be, I don't know if 3D or V7 will come first, but one of those two things are probably closer out than the rest. Let's see what else. We've been playing with some depth control net. It works, but we want to make a new version. We're debating whether we're going to wait for 6.2 before we do the depth control net, because otherwise we'd have to keep training it over and over again. So we're putting some time into some drawing control net stuff and some other control net type things. Just give people more control. What else? We're gonna try to have some new rating tasks soon. We're gonna try to break it up. So instead of saying which image you like better, you can just say, which image has the best prompt accuracy, or which image has the best coherence, or which image you think looks better. And that will start to let us play with more granular, letting people like sort of more granularly help the algorithms. We're also going to have like a Niji pair ranking thing. So if you want free GPU hours, but you only like Niji, you can then just rate Niji images. We'll see how that goes. If that data was all really good, there's a chance of a 6.3, but more likely what it's going to do is it's going to help us gain experience for more granular user labels, which we will use more for V7. Let's see, what else? We're going to try to add some new ranking tasks for helping where you can kind of help pick what goes on the front page. And hopefully that'll make the front page a lot better. Hopefully there's some people who like to help sort through images for the front page. We're going to see how that goes. That'll probably release next week too. We have some demographic stuff, so people can explore demographic aesthetics. Probably start testing that next week internally. like with the guides and mods. We also have like a new personalization system, which I think will be pretty powerful, which will be coming, I think, this month. We're just kind of trying to decide right now, like how much granularity we give people over the personalizations. We're going to try to make it really simple, and people are kind of immediately asking for more complexity. So we're kind of debating on the level of sort of like tweakability we put into the multiple personalized models. Um, but um, I think that'll be really good on the whole. What else? We're gonna do a personality test in the next week or so. It's like a fun little personality test that shows you lots of different, like kind of like a bunch of, it's like a pretty, it's not like it's like a more complicated personality test. It's fun, it's cool, it looks nice. And it'll let us investigate the sort of links between personality and aesthetics. Like, do they actually relate or do they not? And I think that's like kind of a cool new scientific thing. It's also letting us test some future survey and personality infrastructure, which I think will power really cool new stuff. Um, so that should be really fun. Um, what else? Um, yeah, 6.2 will probably. I was trying to get it by the end of the month. I feel like it's gonna end up slipping a little bit because a lot of people have COVID again. No, watch for COVID. Ah, or maybe COVID's not real. I don't know. Um, but yeah, so it's easy. The team's not big enough where like when like vacations or sickness can easily mess up like releases by a week. So we'll kind of see how it goes. Um, I'm hoping for like a 6.2 still. If the 6.2 starts to drag too much, we'll just start doing like other things more related to like the controlled net and the personalization and the other things just in general. Um, what else? Just gonna keep shipping more updates to the website in general. I think the next biggest things are probably around like playing like probably some combination of like making mobile better, adding features to the making Explore better, maybe like a few things for the editor. I've been debating a little bit lately about whether we try to add some UI to let you tweak the sort of amount of variation or the amount of creativity in the upscale. Because like we could do that, but we kind of want to make sure it like feels not like super complicated. So the challenge on the website is always like how do you add features that it feeling like a bloated mess. But I think on the whole we've done a pretty good job, I think, at keeping things simple. Um, we started testing giving people bigger batches on the website. We can do it. I think the challenge is at this point, like possibly needing to make UI changes in order to make like bigger batches comfortable. I would think right now it's not super comfortable to have big batches on the website. So we have some ideas on how to improve the UI for that, but it's going to take some time because we don't quite have enough people to look at it. Uh, yeah, anything else? Mm, 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 mm. A lot of secret projects. Trying to get the storytelling team to I think we're debating whether we'll do like a presentation of the stuff or whether we'll just try to like release something that people can play with. I think I'd rather release something, but We'll see. They have some cool stuff that we can either show off or we can work toward letting people use. Um, it's just a bit more work to release something, of course. Um, yeah, we're also looking at like color reference stuff, just like the sort of color reference, style reference, the depth thing. I think the depth thing confuses some people, so I go back and forth sometimes and can feel a little photo filtery, which I'm not like a huge fan of. So there's like some things about the depth control net that like I'm like a little mixed about in some ways, but we're gonna keep playing with it and kind of think about different UIs around it. There's definitely some version of it which is important and good. I think that's it for now. We can do some, I think we're gonna go to a lightning round and let people just ask questions in the VC text channel. I don't know when we're gonna get to do merch. I really wish we could. There's a lot of things like that I wish we could do. I kind of want to do some kind of contest for Midjourney merch, but it just, yeah. We've thought about doing printing. I don't think I want to do it right now. I think it's hard enough doing the magazine. Like people put the wrong address in and then it doesn't get to them, and then like all this stuff. Would like to upgrade in painting. It's been a something broke on our training scripts for the in painting, and so it's not been working properly, and we weren't sure why. When I'm trying not to waste too much time on a 6.1 in painting because it feels like neither the 6.2 nor the 7. But we did want to get a 6.1 in painting, but the first version or two didn't work, unfortunately. We will do office hours on some other kind of platform at some point, but it's kind of a future thing to figure out soon. It would be cool to have more shortcuts on the website in general, more keyword shortcuts, but we don't have them right now. The Midjourney magazine images are chosen from the top-rated images every month. There's like a pool of top-rated images, and there's some editors, and they look at it. Yeah, we definitely are thinking of adding more options than Discord and Google, but Discord and Google have a lot of things to prevent people from doing fake accounts and abuse, and the more things we offer, the harder it is for us to constantly combat different kinds of weird abuse. Um, you can kind of zoom in with the editor by cropping and then doing an upscale. We're not currently adding more folder features. You can get free hours from basically doing the surveys or the different tasks under the task button. Pretty easy to rack up a bunch of hours. We'll try to make it easier in the future. We have a lot of people working on the website and a lot of people working on AI stuff, and you can't tell like website people to work on AI or AI people to work on websites. It's like saying, um, why don't we put Joe Biden on the basketball team to help like the Laker, to some team to help like help like basically some sports team to help the sports team win, like obviously Joe like the presidents are going to be good at some things and not at other things and yeah, Einstein's not good at basketball, but it doesn't mean that Einstein is bad at things. Likewise, the basketball people are good. That doesn't mean that they can do, theoretical physics. So you can't just, you have to have a team of different types of people, and they're all going to work on the things they're best at, and, they'll all kind of have their different schedules. We're not currently putting more organization features on the website, but we're going to it is something that we eventually would do, I think, but it's pretty low priority. The V7 dataset should be bigger than the V6 dataset. Not really working on an API right now. Maybe there'll be like a personal use one day, but it feels like in general, it's not something that many people would use. Like most people can't program, so most people can't use an API. Some people could use an API to build a business, but we're not really trying to have people build businesses. So it's not really like an obvious thing. I think it definitely makes sense on some time scale, but yeah, not a high priority like the folders. In general, I think we kind of have to focus on things that like help everybody, rather than think a small percentage of people. With some small exceptions, like the magazine is cool because we can get a small team to work on it without, you know, uh, distracting the main team. But it's hard to do that for things that involve code. Do you have artists working with you? I'm not sure what that means. We have a lot of artists on the platform. Some of us have been professional artists in the past. Why do you not pivot to business more? Why do you not pivot to business more? I'm not really sure what pivoting to business means, sorry. Um, we're, not currently working on more moderation stuff. Most of the Midjourney data centers are definitely very green. I don't have like perfect stats. Something that's going to change kind of month to month too, as the compute moves around the different data centers. If you have a specific issue at the website, definitely like try to let people know. And we're not really having an issue with model collapse right now. We don't train on other AI images, but other people train on ours, so it's kind of a weird situation where other people try to constantly make their like the collapse is good for other people if they're trying to like, you know, make it look more like Midjourney, but for us, we just don't train on our own images, so it's fine. Um, we'll probably I think it's not really clear what features businesses want that actually um like make a difference. Like obviously like there's a lot of features like subfolders that some niche like that both some users want, and then there's some equivalents of subfolders for businesses. But it's hard to prioritize features in general. We have the feature voting thing that everybody can vote on. I think at some point we might add like an enterprise seat management thing. I kind of, not my favorite feature, but just so that people can kind of manage group subscriptions. But it's not something that's super high priority. I think that would be like the first feature we would do that would be like explicitly businessy, just like to let groups basically buy group subscriptions and manage them. I mean, you could say it's a business, but I mean also like schools could use that. They could buy a bunch of seats for the school and then assign them to the students. So there's like lots of use cases for sort of seat management. Um, I guess one could argue that schools are businesses. We're not really gonna talk more about the storytelling or the drawing stuff right now. Over the next year, there's gonna be like 3D and video and real time and drawing and a lot of different things. So it's all gonna come together in a pretty kind of intense way. Not really, I mean, if I had to guess, like, if you have somebody's personality and you have their demographics, that those two things together will predict aesthetics like somewhat well, but it may need a few more things. But it'll be interesting to see like at what point do you have enough information to predict the aesthetics and like how much does the aesthetics come from each of the things. There's a sense that maybe like aesthetics lead to values, lead to goals. So it's possible that like it's not that the things determine the aesthetics, but that the aesthetics not that like the personality determines the aesthetics, but the aesthetics determine the personality, which would be kind of crazy. So it's hard to say. Like, are aesthetics the higher order thing, or are they like a lower order thing? Kind of be fun to find out. Um, Hiding and deleting images are the same thing, except for when you hide images, you can unhide them. Whereas when you delete them, we don't have a UI for you to undelete them, but it's doing the same thing behind the scenes. Um, there's no way for you to like delete the actual files or anything, and then there's not really, yeah. So there's a lot of people who are confused about deleting stuff, but definitely there's like I think there's like 1% of users are really, really into deleting images. Just kind of there's a lot of like 1% groups that do things like very specific corners of the product. It's going to be hard for us to focus on those because there's a lot of areas that 10% people look at, or 20% people look at, or 50%. We have to focus on those first. Um, Definitely good to expose people to AI tools in schools, though I don't think a lot about schools because I'm not sure if like schools will exist in another 10 years just because all of the like already the yeah, like talking to a chatbot's probably better than the average classroom, but I think it will get a lot better still, to the point where a lot of the current existing school stuff seems really pointless. Obviously, schools can get better, but been kind of a slow institution for a long time. So it'll be interesting to see how schools adapt to, yeah, people just learning on their own. Um, yeah, I don't know if there really are. There are a lot of people, always people trying to compete with us, but the competitive people don't really have ideas, and we kind of have ideas. So I think that like as long as we kind of stick to our values and focus on building new things, that we'll be fine. And I mean, I'm okay if there's somebody else that has a business in the space. Like, it's fine. As our goal isn't really to like take over the world, it's to help a lot of people and ideally have enough extra resources to fund kind of crazy and cool projects that can help more people that don't have to make money. A lot of the social platforms can already detect what AI images are or not. I think Facebook has a pretty good one. Um, yeah, All the images that you make on Midjourney are generated by chipmunks drawing with an Apple Pencil. Um, we're not really looking at iPads very much, but we will. We're gonna try to improve. We'll improve mobile and then we'll improve iPads. There's a very small group of people who use iPads. That's just not a priority to us right now. I don't think that we see cognitive differences between demographics, but we do definitely see like I think estrogen maybe makes people more sensitive to colors or something. Like there may be certain like chemical things that change like visual perceptive things. Um, yeah, Flux is the stable diffusion people, so I guess the stable diffusion people didn't like the CEO and then they left and they formed a new company and they're like, we just want to do the same thing but without the CEO. I think there were a lot of issues with the company that didn't make sense. So I don't think that the goal is to just like when something goes bad, it's really easy to blame the CEO, but often there's other problems too. And so usually if people like leave a company and then try to do the same thing but without the CEO, they end up learning that most of the things that didn't work at the previous company also don't work at the new company. And it wasn't just the CEO. The CEO becomes kind of a scapegoat. Even if the CEO does have issues, like it's easy to use the CEO for a scapegoat and like not recognize other problems. So I feel mixed about a lot of open source image stuff insofar that like it's definitely powering all the deep fake and porn stuff now. And I don't know if that's like a strict social good. It's obviously good for image models in research, but I'm not totally sure sometimes if the academic research is contributing that much. So I go back and forth. I think we, I think that like what, I think that like academic research and open source may have to evolve a little bit with how, with sort of the AI field over the next like 5 or 10 years, and certain things that used to make sense won't make sense anymore, and vice versa. It's hard to say exactly what that means, but it definitely there's like a different. It feels like there's a different equilibrium that needs to exist, whether it's like so safety and social good or still allowing research and things like allowing people to like the fact that yeah, most of the open source companies can't open source things a lot of times, or they're not actually normal real open source licenses by like the definition of open source because they're trying to still make money off of it, and the sort of the capital costs of building the models become so high. Um, yeah, Midjourney could be bigger, but the first usually when you are a first time CEO, like the mistake that everybody makes is basically hiring too many people and growing too fast. And growth is probably the number one killer of most startups. Like, yeah, startup usually has like a company in the beginning has like some unique culture and abilities. And if you just hire like if you have like 10 people and you hire like a random 1,000 people, you're no longer really that company anymore. You're just like the average of those 1,000 people that you hired. And so usually you have to grow at a slow speed if you want to kind of maintain your identity. But then you also um, hard to find really good people. So in general, when people hire a lot of people, they're mostly bad people. So it's both hard to find the right people and it's hard to keep your identity as you grow. And so there's like multiple reasons why growing tends to be like not always good. And then just organizationally, like 2 people, I would say it tends to be more than twice as effective as one person because they can kind of make up for each other's weaknesses. But then like 10 people aren't 5 times more effective than 2 people. Um, Organizations tend to become, they don't tend to become more effective in proportion to the number of people. So like 100 people might only be twice as effective as 10. Things tend not to grow super easily unless they're kind of unrelated projects. In fact, as you get to thousands of people, you might actually be doing worse at some point. So growth is not necessarily, it lets you do more things, but doesn't necessarily let you do things better. And it can kind of just make everything really generic. Um, yeah, we're definitely going to do some color reference things. I think it'll be really good. We have a lot of. Mm, sorry, my voice is weak. 1 second. Sorry. Um, I might wrap up in 10 minutes. Yeah, the people that definitely having fun online with Trump photos. Um, I think we're kind of grateful to not be a part of that. It's nice just to kind of have, yeah, I mean, we have to be careful with like flash in the pan stuff too. There's like a lot of things that people will do that are kind of flash in the pan and they're very distracting, but no, we try to build like long-term value. The Procreate thing, yeah, people being anti-AI is kind of a shame because there's probably going to be a really great AI drawing thing. The ranking images are made by users. We're not displaying private images. We will see real-time Midjourney quality. Uh, OpenAI, it doesn't make Stable Diffusion. SD3, that's Stable Diffusion. It's a different company. I don't think any of the companies are scummy. I think a lot of companies have good and bad people, and some companies have good and bad leadership. But you can have good leadership and bad people, or bad leadership and good people. Like it's kind of not totally related. And I think everyone's in some ways trying, like mostly just trying to do the right thing. But I think some people are definitely more focused on money or ego or like social clout. And I think that being focused on those things are not necessarily um, spiritually wise, you know? It's like, yeah, like on your deathbed, you're like, oh, I wish I had more tweet likes. I wish I had more likes on my tweets, you know? Not really. Or like, I wish I had more money, you know? So I just think that it's unfortunate, but I mean, generally, like leadership doesn't just go to people who are wise. It goes to people who are, it can go to people who are obsessed with those things. So, you kind of need these like reluctant leaders. We need to probably cultivate more reluctant leaders. Bim. Yeah, over 5 years, I think we usually talk about, real-time open world simulation. So like video and 3D and real time and, just kind of being able to like simulate worlds. And there'll be a lot of other really cool stuff too. A lot of hardware things on that time frame too. I think there's a lot of things that I feel confident about that will be big in the future, and I'm going to try to invest at doing them at Midjourney. I think we are moving fast enough. It's always better to move faster, but I think we're doing okay. I'm just trying to respond to questions on the thing. People are typing questions in the VC text, and I'm a little behind right now, but catching up. Um, if you're a young person starting out in coding, you should just try to code things that you think are fun and try to figure out what you find to be fun, and then you should Try to find a job doing things that you think are fun. It sounds kind of weird, but like, yeah, like if you're having fun, you'll be good at the thing you're doing. Because most people don't enjoy what they're doing. And you can only be good at something you love. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely like a balance between, like, you definitely want to be balanced between like freedom and safety. I mean, that's why we have laws. Um, Maybe a smoothie would have been good. I don't think AI usage is speeding up hardware development. Hardware development is actually relatively slow and is sort of independent of the software. But more money is going into hardware development, but you can only make things go so fast in hardware. Um, there's going to be a color reference system. Yeah. When you use the editor and adjust the prompt, we do consider how the prompt should be affecting things, I think, yeah. We probably could do something better at like having different prompts for different areas at some point. I agree, that would be a good idea. Tell us some things about Midjourney that most of us don't know. I don't really know what most people know, but I mean, a lot of people forget that, we're a relatively small company. We have around 50 people, 50, and we don't have any office. We're like spread across the world, and we don't have any investors, so we're just sort of community supported. And those are all pretty cool things. I think that we make a lot of images. I think we have something like 15, there's like 50, I think all the images spread across like 15 data centers around the world. That's pretty cool. Um, I don't know, some random facts. Kind of have to ask specific questions. Would you rather live in a city with what? Oh, that's go on Lex Friedman. Maybe. I do try a lot of image generation algorithms that are out on the internet. It's kind of fun to see like how they behave differently from ours. Yeah, I don't think it makes sense to do image generation locally because it's when you use the cloud, you can use like 60 GPUs at the same time for 1 minute. Like if you use repeat or permutations, yeah, I think on turbo mode, I think you're using like 64 GPUs at the same time or something crazy like that. And just like it's not practical to do that locally, and it's yeah. If you want to work for Midjourney, what skills should you develop? Um, Mostly hire generalists who are good at lots of different things, whether it's design and programming or design and algorithms, things like that. It's a feature that I'm surprised more people aren't using. A lot of people still aren't using personalization. And I really want people to use it more, but hopefully the next personalization we're releasing will be easier to use. What should young people learn in the next 10 years? You should definitely learn like what makes you happy. Like try to figure out what makes you happy and what you enjoy. There's like this fun question which is like if you had a robot that looked exactly like you, that could do anything that you could do and nobody would know that it wasn't you doing it. Like if I had a David robot and I could ask it to do anything for me and everybody would think it was David, but the robot was also at better than me at everything. Like basically, what would you give to the robot and what would you keep for yourself? Like what would you rather do even if you knew it wasn't being done as well? You know? Like you could send the robot on a date and the person would have a better experience than with you. You could have the robot watch a sunset and compose a poem better than you would. But like, maybe I'd still want to watch the sunset even though nobody would write about it just for me. So it's kind of one of those things, like knowing what you sort of enjoy doing and what you love to do and what you would do, and even if you had something else that could do it for you better. Those are sort of like more philosophical, spiritually important questions. And I think if you don't have the answers to those questions, a lot of other things in life are hard to think about. Like if you don't know what's fun, you're like, what do I do? But if you know what's fun, then you're like, I'm gonna try to figure out how to do what's fun. It makes things a lot easier. You can crop right now with the editor, and that's kind of like zooming in if you do a upscale afterwards. The personalization is pretty different than the style codes because the style codes are kind of doing a style independent of the subject. And then this personalization codes kind of affect the subject and the style and the images. Like it might make a cat more likely to appear, or it might give a woman red hair. Things that are not exactly about style, but are sort of style subject coupling. Most people don't want money. They want something that money represents, like love or companionship or like a sense of ownership or freedom. But it's definitely dangerous to pursue money as a thing in itself. They say that's like the dog mistaking the whistle for the treat. Yeah, I just want fast hours too. I just had Nick some fast hours. Um, we're gonna keep supporting Discord for as long as we can. Obviously, we can't make any discords about like we can't make any guarantees about the Discord side of this of the deal, but we're gonna try to support Discord for as long as we can. Um, the style code is supposed to be more independent of content, whereas the personalization is not. The storytelling people are probably gonna do a presentation, or we're gonna try to let people use things sooner rather than later. We have we could probably add the prefer options to the website. It's one of those options again. It's like not most people don't use. It's not totally clear if it how that's supposed to work on a web. I'm kind of debating a little bit how the prefer is supposed to work on web. Yeah, you don't want to have too little money, but then you don't want too much money either. It's kind of like water, right? You don't want to too little money and you die of thirst, too much money and you drown. We don't really want to try to monetize the images. The personalization code affects the subject and the style. It kind of affects everything, whereas the style thing tries to only affect the style. I don't think we want to do an ad-supported Midjourney because I think ads kind of clash. Like ads kind of clash with creativity. We've thought about doing some kind of free tier, but we have to be careful about it. We want to make sure that if we're going to lose money on a free tier, that we're somehow gaining value for all the other users that are paying. Steve Jobs seemed good. I think the tech ecosystem became too reliant on him, and he built Apple to kind of not survive him. So I don't know if either of those things are, but definitely, well, sometimes I have mixed feelings about how like we never really saw the dream of Xerox PARC come about. Like computers were supposed to be kind of accessible and more open, and then we got something kind of less accessible and less open, more accessible, less open. Yeah, there was like a weird balance there. Yeah, I think Apple is in for a tough ride without having the sort of founding executive staff. But I mean, I think we're going to see new leadership in a lot of the tech companies over the next few years, I think. So that'll be interesting. Anything changed your viewpoint on making a not safe for work version? I think I'm like slightly more uneasy about the not safe for work Midjourney stuff still, just because I'm not totally sure it's meant like mentally healthy. Um, yeah. I mean, I go back and forth. It'd be cool to do like a study of some kind. There'll be better CREF in the future. Be better there'll be some video generation stuff in the future. Hose down the not safe for work lab. Yeah, we might need like and definitely hose it down. Yeah, we're gonna try to make the style references better in the future. We're gonna try to make character references better in the future. We're probably waiting for V7 for most of these things. I really want to go on for like a few more hours, but I'm like my voice is really like kind of collapsing, like so I'm going to take a break and rest my voice. I'm sorry everyone, but thank you for coming to the weekly Midjourney office hours. I appreciate everyone being a part of the community. I hope everybody has fun on the website. Let your friends try the website too. And yeah, have a nice day and see everyone next week. See you later.